Dog vision. There's a reason your dog will sprint right past a bright red toy sitting in the middle of green grass like it's completely invisible. And here's the twist. To him, it kind of is. Pretty much everyone grows up believing dogs see the world in black and white, like some old broken TV. That's just flat out wrong. Dogs do see color, they just don't see it the way you do. Their eyes are physically built differently from ours, and that one difference changes their entire world. Here's the deal. You have 3 color receptors in your eyes. Dogs only have 2, which scientists call dichromatic vision. A 2017 review found that dogs see blues and yellows pretty clearly, but they struggle hard with reds and greens. The closest comparison isn't a black and white camera at all. It's a person who's red-green colorblind. So that red ball lying on green grass? To your dog, both colors basically melt together into the same dull brownish-gray mush. He's not ignoring the toy to mess with you. He literally cannot pick it out. But color is nothing compared to the random thing their bodies do for absolutely no reason at all. Zoomies. Your dog suddenly losing his entire mind at 9 p.m., tearing laps around the couch like he's been possessed by a demon, actually has a real scientific name. You know the exact move. 1 second he's lying there calm, the next he's hitting what feels like 30 miles an hour around the living room, butt tucked, eyes wild, totally uncontrollable for about 30 seconds. Then he just stops, like nothing ever happened. Vets at Cornell call these frenetic random activity periods, or FRAPs for short. They tend to show up after excitement, after a bath, after he's been cooped up too long, sometimes purely a stress release, and of course the classic, the second you walk in the door. But here's the catch. There's no single proven cause for it. The best explanation we've got is that zoomies are basically a pressure release valve. Energy and emotion build up, and the body just dumps all of it at once in one chaotic sprint. It looks completely broken. It's actually 100% normal. And speaking of stuff that makes owners panic for no reason, this next one is a total classic. Grass eating. Here's the dog myth that almost everyone gets completely backwards. Your dog drops his head down in the yard and starts munching on grass like a tiny little cow, and instantly your brain goes, "Oh no! His stomach's upset, he's about to be sick." That assumption is so common that people basically treat it as a fact. Except the research just doesn't back it up. A 2008 study on plant eating found that it was super common in totally healthy dogs that had access to grass. And later vet summaries pointed out that only a small minority of dogs actually seem ill before they go and eat it. So grass eating is way better explained as normal foraging, plain curiosity, leftover instinct from his ancestors, or honestly just liking the texture of it. It is not your dog frantically hitting some self-destruct button. Most of the time, he just wants a snack. And if grass grosses you out even a little, just wait. Because this next one is so much worse. Poop eating. The single grossest thing your dog does might actually be ancient survival code, written right into his DNA. Let's not sugarcoat this one. Some dogs eat poop, their own, other dogs, whatever happens to be lying around. It's revolting, it makes owners gag, and it feels like there could not possibly be a good reason for it. But there just might be. A 2018 study found that around 16% of surveyed dogs ate stool frequently. And the really weird part was the pattern behind it. Dogs strongly preferred fresh feces, usually less than 2 days old. Researchers think that one detail is the key to the entire mystery. Their theory is that it's leftover behavior from wolf ancestors. Wolves would clear feces out of the den, but only fresh, before the parasite eggs inside it had time to actually become infectious. Eating it fresh removed the threat to the pack. Gross, sure, but genuinely smart. And that little dirt kick he does right afterward? Yeah, that's not what you think either. Ground scratching. He's not trying to clean up after himself at all. He's actually leaving you, and every other dog in the area, a message. You've seen it 100 times. Your dog finishes his business and then dramatically kicks up grass and dirt with his back legs like he's trying to cover the whole thing. Everyone just assumes he's bearing it, like a cat does. He's not. According to the behavior experts, this is way better understood as a combined visual and scent signal. The scratch marks themselves leave a visible mark, torn up ground that other dogs can literally see. And at the same time, odors from his urine, his feces, and possibly even scent glands tucked in his paws get spread all around the spot. So it's basically a billboard. The torn up dirt screams, "Hey, look right here," and the scent layered on top says, "This is mine, I was here." He's not hiding the evidence, he's advertising it. Next up is easily the cutest mystery on this entire list, the head tilt. That adorable little head tilt might actually mean your dog is thinking way harder than you are right now. It's maybe the most universally loved dog move that exists. You say something to him, and he cocks his head right over to the side with that perfect little "huh" face. For years, people just assumed it meant he was confused, or that he was being cute on purpose to get attention. The real reason is honestly way more interesting than that. A 2021 study looked specifically at gifted word learner dogs, the rare ones that can actually learn dozens of different toy names. And the researchers noticed something. These dogs tilted their heads a lot more often, specifically when they heard the name of a toy they actually knew. That links the head tilt directly to attention and mental processing, not just random cuteness. So when your dog tilts his head, there's a real chance he's focusing hard and pulling up a memory. He's basically buffering. That guilty face, though? Total lie. And there's actual proof. The guilty look. Your dog has never once actually felt guilty in his entire life. And scientists can prove it. You come home, there's trash absolutely everywhere, and your dog is already doing the full routine. Head down, ears pinned back, refusing to make eye contact, slinking around all low to the ground. It looks exactly like guilt, like he knows precisely what he did. Spoiler, he almost certainly doesn't. A 2009 study by a researcher named Alexandra Horowitz set this up really cleverly. She found that the guilty look showed up the strongest based on whether owners scolded the dog, not based on whether the dog had actually done anything wrong at all. Innocent dogs who got scolded for nothing look just as guilty as the actual culprits. So that look is not a confession. It's a direct reaction to your body language and your tone of voice. He's reading that you're upset, and he's throwing out calming, appeasing signals to try and diffuse you. It's pure social pressure and zero actual guilt. This next one is so gross that scientists still cannot fully crack it. Scent rolling. Nobody on Earth has fully figured out why dogs absolutely love rolling around in dead, rotting, disgusting stuff. You take your dog out to a beautiful open field, and what does he immediately find? The one dead bird. The single pile of fox poop in a square mile. And he throws himself shoulder first straight into it with pure, unfiltered joy. Why? Honestly, even the scientists are still arguing about it. There are a few leading theories floating around. 1, he's masking his own scent so he could theoretically sneak up on prey. 2, he's carrying the smell back home to bring information to his social group. 3, he's claiming that smell is his own. And recent wolf scent rolling research from 2024 showed that novel, strong, unfamiliar odors really do trigger the behavior hard. But here's the honest part. No single theory actually wins. It might genuinely be all of them at once depending on the dog and the day. This one is a real, unsolved, open mystery, and this next one sounds completely fake. But it is real, peer-reviewed science. Magnetic pooping. Your dog might literally be using a built-in compass every single time he poops. That whole ritual where your dog spins in endless circles before he finally squats down? There might be way more going on there than just hunting for the perfect spot. There might be an actual invisible force involved. A 2013 study tracked 70 dogs across 37 different breeds. And the numbers on this are wild. They measured 1,093 separate poops and 5,582 pees. What they found is that when Earth's magnetic field was calm and stable, dogs preferred to line their bodies up along a north-south axis, and they actively avoided pointing east-west. That strongly suggests dogs can somehow sense the planet's magnetic field, which is something we humans cannot feel at all. We still don't fully know why they bother doing it, but the alignment was way too consistent across thousands of attempts to just be random chance. And it's not just their body doing strange things. Their tail is sending out coded signals too. Tail wagging. A wagging tail does not automatically mean what you've always thought it means. We all learn it as little kids. Wagging tail equals happy dog, simple. But that's a genuinely dangerous oversimplification. The truth is that the direction the tail leans, plus the context around it, can completely flip the message. Research shows that tail wagging is often asymmetric, meaning it's biased a little more to the left or a little more to the right. And get this, other dogs absolutely notice. Studies found that dogs react differently when they see a left-biased wag versus a right-biased wag in another dog. A 2024 review tied all of this back to brain lateralization, which is just the idea that the two halves of the brain handle different emotions. So which side the tail favors can actually leak out what the dog is really feeling underneath. A wag can mean happy, sure, but it can also signal stress or pure uncertainty. The lesson is read the whole dog, never just the tail. So stick around, because these next ones get even weirder. But first, real quick, if your dog does even half of these, hit subscribe, because we're only getting weirder from here. Howling at sirens. The reason some dogs howl their heads off at sirens while others completely ignore them comes down to one thing: bloodline. An ambulance goes screaming by, and your dog throws his head straight back and starts howling like a full-on wolf. Meanwhile, your neighbor's dog doesn't even bother to lift an ear. Same exact sound, completely different reaction. And the reason for that difference is way older than you'd think. A 2023 study found that older dogs from more ancient wolf-adjacent breeds responded with noticeably longer howls when researchers played them recordings of actual wolf howls. More modern breeds, on the other hand, were way less likely to answer back with a true howl at all. Sirens probably set it off in the first place because they sound a lot like long-distance canine calls. And the deeper a dog's wolf roots run, the stronger that buried urge to answer becomes. Domestication slowly dialed that howl way down in the newer breeds, and while they're sleeping, something even stranger is happening inside their heads. Dreaming. We actually know for a fact that dogs dream. The real problem is we just can't see what they're dreaming about. You've watched it happen a dozen times. Your sleeping dog suddenly starts twitching, his paws start paddling like he's mid-sprint, and he makes those muffled little woofs. It really truly looks like he's off chasing something in a dream somewhere. So is he? Modern non-invasive sleep studies can actually measure a dog's brain through different stages: wakefulness, drowsiness, deep NREM sleep, and REM sleep. And dogs clearly cycle through REM, which is the exact same stage where humans do the vast majority of their dreaming. Because REM is so tightly linked to dreaming in people, researchers think it's extremely likely that dogs dream too. But chasing rabbits is honestly still just a guess on our part. We can confirm the dream state is happening, we just cannot confirm the actual movie playing inside his head. And that cold, wet nose of his is hiding a genuine secret power. The cold nose. Your dog's wet nose is basically a built-in thermal camera, and almost nobody knows it. Everyone knows dogs have an insane sense of smell. That's old news. But the nose has a second trick that flew completely under the radar for years. Ever wonder why the tip of the nose is cold, wet, and totally bare with no fur on it whatsoever? That specific design is actually doing a job. A 2020 study tested this exact thing and found that dogs can genuinely sense weak thermal radiation. That means faint heat radiating off of objects, picked up using that hairless little nose tip. So on top of the world-class smelling, the nose can pick up warm bodies and heat signatures at close range. It's like a backup sense built directly into his face. A nose that smells and basically sees heat at the same time. And that same incredible nose might even be able to smell when you're sick. Smelling disease. Some dogs can smell a disease growing in your body before any machine even catches it. This one sounds like a literal superpower, and kind of is one. There are dogs trained specifically to sniff out illness in humans, and they are shockingly, almost unbelievably good at it. And the reason ties straight back to that legendary nose. Here's how it works. When you get sick, your body's chemistry changes, and that change alters the smell coming off your breath, your sweat, even your urine. Research supports trained dogs detecting odors linked to infections, dangerously low blood sugar, oncoming seizures, and even some types of cancer. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. The real open mystery is reliability. Dogs can be absolutely incredible living biosensors, but they have off days, they get distracted, and they have limits. They are amazing, just not a clean, dependable replacement for a standardized medical test. And believe it or not, dogs might even be able to recognize their own smell. Self-recognition. Dogs straight up fail the famous mirror test. but it turns out that test was kind of rigged against them the whole time. The classic test for self-awareness is the mirror test. Basically, do you recognize that the reflection staring back is you? Dogs flunk it pretty badly, and for years that result got used as solid proof that dogs just aren't very self-aware. But there is a massive flaw hiding in that logic. The mirror test is built entirely around vision, but dogs don't experience the world through their eyes first. They experience it through their nose. So a 2017 olfactory mirror study flipped the whole thing around. When researchers presented a dog with its own scent that had been slightly altered, the dog spent way longer investigating it. That suggests dogs do recognize their own unique scent signature, a smell-based version of "wait, that's me." Now, critics do argue that it still doesn't fully prove self-awareness, but at the very least, it shows we'd been testing them completely wrong this whole time. They can also read your emotions better than some actual people can. Reading emotions. Your dog knows that you're upset before you say a single word, and there is hard science sitting behind it. It feels almost spooky when it happens. You've had a genuinely terrible day. You walk in the door quiet and withdrawn, and your dog immediately gets all gentle and clingy with you. People just chalk it up to, dogs simply know. But what's actually going on is way more impressive than some vague vibe. A 2016 study tested it properly. Dogs were shown emotional faces, either happy or angry, and at the same time played sounds that either matched or didn't match. And the dogs reliably matched the correct emotional face to the correct emotional sound, and they did it for both humans and other dogs. That means dogs are not just reading your face on its own, or your tone on its own. They're combining both inputs into one complete emotional read. They build actual emotional categories in their heads, which is genuinely advanced stuff. And some dogs take it even further and actually understand words. Understanding words. A few rare dogs don't just blindly obey words, they actually see them in their heads. Most dog training is honestly just reflex. You say sit, he sits, because over time the sound came to equal a reward. And for a really long time, people assume that's all words ever were to dogs. Just triggers, nothing more. But some dogs completely blow that idea apart. A 2024 study found actual neural evidence that dogs activate a mental image of a familiar object the moment they hear its name. Their brains physically reacted differently when the object they were then shown didn't match the word they'd just heard. And that is huge. It means for some dogs, a word isn't just an empty command. It actually pulls up the real specific thing in their mind. That's genuine word meaning, not just a trained little party trick. This next one explains why staring into your dog's eyes feels so weirdly, deeply good. The gaze loop. Staring into your dog's eyes literally changes your brain chemistry, and his too. That warm, melty feeling you get when your dog just gazes up at you with those soft eyes, that is not just in your head. Or well, it absolutely is in your head, but chemically. There is a real biological loop running back and forth between the two of you. A 2015 study found that mutual gazing between dogs and their owners actually increased oxytocin, the famous bonding hormone, in the owners. And here is the absolute kicker. The exact same effect did not happen with wolves that had been raised by humans. That tells us domestication itself built a genuine bonding system between dogs and people. And it closely mirrors the very same oxytocin loop that runs between a human parent and their newborn baby. Your dog basically hijacked the same ancient wiring, and those exact same eyes were practically evolved to manipulate you. Puppy dog eyes. That pleading, sad-eyed look is not some act your dog learned over time. He was literally built for it from the ground up. You know the exact face. The big soft eyes, the raised inner eyebrows, the look that instantly makes you feel like a complete monster for not immediately sharing your food. It works on basically every human alive, and that is absolutely no accident. A 2019 study compared dog and wolf anatomy directly and found that dogs have a specific little muscle around the eyes that lets them raise that inner eyebrow way up. Wolves basically do not have that muscle at all. It developed in dogs slowly, over thousands and thousands of years. The leading theory is that humans unconsciously preferred and bred the dogs that could pull off that face, simply because it triggers our deep caregiving instinct. So in a way, we literally created the puppy dog eyes look ourselves, just by falling for it over and over. But the single biggest mystery of all is where dogs even came from in the first place. The origin of dogs. After absolutely everything you just heard, science still cannot fully answer the single biggest question of all. We've covered eyes, noses, dreams, magnets, and minds. But the deepest mystery on this whole list is also the simplest one to actually ask out loud. Where did dogs even come from? When, where, and exactly how did wild, dangerous wolves slowly turn into the goofy animal currently sleeping at your feet? As of June 2026, ancient DNA has pushed genetically confirmed dog evidence all the way back to about 15,800 years ago. And research shows that early dogs were already spread out and genetically distinct from each other by around 14,000 to 15,000 years ago. But here's the thing, the exact wolf population they originally came from and the full step-by-step path of how it all actually happened is still completely unsolved. We do not have one clean, agreed-upon origin story for them. The most familiar animal on the entire planet is scientifically still a giant question mark. The dog curled up right next to you at this very moment is, in the truest sense, still a mystery. If you want your mind blown all over again, click the video on screen right now